Hey juniors, happy Tuesday. We are getting closer and closer to our MLQ this Friday. Today we are going to move away from the essay writing. You'll still be doing that for your homework, but in class we're going to start our MLQ review. So what you're going to be doing is cold reading a couple of passages and then answering questions about them. You'll be doing this today, tomorrow, and Thursday, so get used to the format. You'll see it again and again and again, and you're going to love it. So let's first go ahead and take a look at the standards that we're going to be covering during the MLQ. We're going to be talking about central idea, which you guys know is the main idea of the story without any details. And we're also going to be talking a lot about how setting shapes the plot, which is how the time and the place of the story affects the action. You'll also be talking about point of view in your essay, which is how a character thinks, acts, and feels. And you'll be talking about how that point of view develops over the course of a story. And we talked yesterday about how developing means how does it change from the beginning to the end. Today we're mainly going to be concentrating on central idea and how setting shapes the plot, but we'll hit point of view later this week. Go ahead and take out your guided practice worksheet. I'm going to read the first 3 paragraphs of our story out loud, and you'll be following along. Then we'll annotate and answer questions. Here we go. My maternal grandmother resides in Phoenix, Arizona. It has been roughly 10 years since she relocated there. In fact, I was only 2 years old when she moved from Chicago. It was necessary for her to move to a warmer climate because the winters in Chicago were far too cold for her to handle. She made an appointment with her doctor, who told my grandmother that she could not remain in such a cold climate. My grandmother was extremely disappointed to leave Chicago, especially because her friends and family lived there. However, soon enough, she was able to make several new friends in Phoenix, so she was content. My mother frequently visits her in the wintertime, but unfortunately, I'm unable to go then since I have to be in school. This past summer, though, I went for a lengthy visit. I stayed for the summer. I had never been away from home more than a few days before. I traveled by plane to Phoenix alone, even though I had never flown on an airplane before. My mother cried at the airport, but I was all smiles. What a trip. I smiled all the way. Once we landed, the pilot informed us that it was 110 degrees outside. I thought there was absolutely no way I had heard him clearly. It had never been near that hot in Chicago. So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and circle your characters. Our characters so far are grandmother, the narrator, who goes by I, and my mother. Then we're going to box the setting. Go ahead and do that on your own right now. We're talking about the setting being in Phoenix, Arizona. The narrator is leaving from Chicago to go to his grandmother's house in Phoenix, Arizona, and we're talking about it being the summer. You could also box things like 110 degrees outside because that's describing the setting. Now we're going to annotate for central idea. Take a look at this first paragraph again. We're talking about grandma living in Phoenix. She had moved there from Chicago. She had to move because she got too sick in the cold. She was sad to leave Chicago, but now she's happy with her friends. So go ahead and write down a central idea for this paragraph. An exemplar central idea would be that grandma moved from Chicago to Phoenix. The information about why she moved and how she felt about that move are details that don't belong in the central idea, but might be included in some sort of summary. Paragraph 2. My mother frequently visits her in the wintertime, but unfortunately, I'm unable to go then since I have to be in school. This past summer, though, I went for a lengthy visit. I stayed for the summer. I had never been away from home for more than a few days before. Go ahead and write a central idea of this paragraph. I put that the narrator is going to visit grandma. Again, the fact that she has not been able to go before isn't really the central idea, it's just a detail. As is the fact that the narrator has never been away from home for more than a few days. So we're going to write the narrator is going to visit grandma. Paragraph 3. I traveled by plane to Phoenix alone, even though I had never flown on an airplane before. My mother cried at the airport. What a trip. When they landed, it was 110 degrees. it had never been that hot in Chicago. Go ahead and write your central idea. This is the first time the narrator travels by plane and experiences extreme heat. You could also write that the central idea is that the narrator is having many new experiences. Let's go ahead and look at question 1. Question 1 says, what does the word relocated mean as it is used in paragraph 1? Does it mean live, find, place, or move? Let's take a look at the word relocated. I'm going to underline it 3 times. You go ahead and do the same. So it's been roughly 10 years since Grandma relocated to Arizona, where she now lives. And then it says that she moves from Chicago. So I'm going to cross out find and place because I know those have nothing to do with those 3 sentences. Live, she does reside in Phoenix, Arizona, so maybe relocate it means to start living in Arizona. And move also works because we know she was originally living in Chicago and later moved to Phoenix. The correct answer is move. And the reason is because I'm going to write my explain sentence. Oh, looks like I forgot my explain sentence. Go ahead and write what I say now. The reason the answer is move is because Grandma started off living in Chicago and then left to go to Phoenix. That means she moved to go to Phoenix. She relocated. So you can say for your explain statement, she left Chicago to live in Phoenix. So she moved. The next question is, which detail provides the best clue of the meaning of relocated as it is used in the story? So take a look at some of these answer choices. First thing I'm going to do is cross out as it is used in the story and write that relocated means move. So I know I'm looking for a statement that proves that Grandma moved. I can automatically cross out A and B. Has nothing to do with her moving from Chicago and living in Arizona. So I'm left with C and D. I'm going to go ahead and circle the word moved in C because I know that relocated means move. So my explain sentence is going to be, she relocated to Phoenix from Chicago, which means she moved. Guys, moving forward, we are going to be explaining every single answer choice we made. The reason that we're doing this is because moving forward, we need to have some deeper thinking. I need to know that you know why you chose the answer and why you chose the best answer versus the good answer. What we're going to do now is, as a guided practice, we're going to finish reading the story and answer questions about the central idea and how setting shapes the plot. What I need you to do right now is close your Chromebooks and answer the next question on your guided practice worksheet, which is your written CFU that asks you to explain how you think the setting will shape the plot in this story. Go ahead and do that now for about 1 minute, and then we're going to move on as a whole group.